Welcome to Access a Trader, the #1 community for those who are committed to taking control of their trading in order to achieve success, profitability, and longevity. Thank you for joining us. Here's Dan Shapiro to help you find your edge, master your process, and own your future.
Hey guys, good evening everybody. Welcome to another edition of the AccessATrader.com nightly wrap-up show. Hope everybody is doing well. Guys, do me a favor, if you are getting value on this channel and you look forward to the videos as much as I look forward to recording them, the only thing I ask is take a moment out, support the channel, click a like, share, subscribe if you haven't done so already. And again, hopefully I can continue to bring you a little piece of sunshine. So I was ready not to record the video tonight. For the majority of the day, I would say 80% of the day, the market was going into a rest mode, right? We had a double inside day. The market was not doing anything. And I was like, oh, what's the point? Like, it was like around 3 o'clock. And I was like, well, what's the point? Am I going to record a video? All you got to do is literally go back to last night's video and you can rewatch that. I mean, stocks were just literally doing nothing. Yeah. I mean, was there a pivot this morning on Microsoft? Yeah. Okay. Right. I caught a little pivot here on Microsoft. You know, I was running up here ahead of earnings tomorrow. But ultimately, the market wasn't doing anything. Tesla was pretty much down the whole morning. NVIDIA was pretty much down the whole morning. And it was just like, let's just wait for tomorrow. But the good thing prior to this 3 o'clock kind of tweet that I put out was I knew that two things were happening. Number one, we were continuing to digest these recent gains from last week. Okay, we knew that. Second thing we knew, we continued to see massive, absolutely massive call buying coming in on NVIDIA, right? NVIDIA, we'll get to exactly what's going on after hours. NVIDIA was pretty much at 108, pretty much in that area the whole day. And I'm talking about, guys, nonstop, the weekly $12, $13, $14, $15 calls. Nonstop, literally the whole day. And I'm saying to myself, well, why is NVIDIA getting $4, $5 calls out of the money nonstop throughout the whole day? Does somebody know something, right? What else? Somebody always knows something. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, right? At the same time, and this has now been going on for several days, at the same time, we're looking at Tesla, and they were just pounding literally for the last couple of days, but then today especially, they were just pounding. I mean, absolutely pounding the 295s, the 300 weeklies. They started going absolutely crazy, and and I'll show you the order flow on Tesla here in a second. So next thing I know, you turn around and everything starts rallying, right? Everything starts rallying. The NASDAQ, the QQQs took out the previous day's highs. And now we are literally, guys, we are like 2 points away from reclaiming the 50-day moving average. If you've been an avid follower of me for a very long time, the one basic thing right? You even got nothing else out of anything I say. Above the 50-day moving average is super bullish, risk on. Below the 50-day moving average, risk off, that's very bearish. So again, here we lost the 50-day moving average, right? If you guys remember, we lost the 50-day moving average on February 22nd, right? Excuse me, on February 21st. The result, the Qs went from 520 all the way down to 402, right? That's the whole point. Below the 50-day, super bearish. Above the 50-day, super bullish. So let me give you the other side of the equation, right? Here's the last time we reclaimed the 50-day moving average was on 9/11 of all days, right? So we reclaimed the 50-day moving average here at 469 on the Qs on 9/11, and the Qs went all the way up to a high of 540. So again, over the 50-day bullish, below the 50-day is bearish. So we are, basically about 2 points, right? About 2 points away of reclaiming the 50-day moving average. If the bulls can do so in the next couple of days, that would be very, very good, right? Absolutely very good. Obviously, we're in the midst of earnings season. You have earnings reports all over the place. Obviously, they could swing the NASDAQ 100 above the 50, below the 50-day on any given report. But at least on the surface, right? At least on the surface, the bulls are going where they need to be. And again, they continue to brush off bad news. They continue to brush off news with China. We'll see what happens, right? We'll see what happens. I believe Trump is speaking tonight. I believe it's at 6 o'clock. I think he's going to talk about the first 100 days in office. If I'm wrong, I apologize. It's been a long day, but I believe he is speaking. Obviously, nobody knows what he's going to say. He's going to talk about tariffs. He's going to talk about our position of strength in the global economy. Does he mention anything, any company by name? Does he mention the semiconductors? Does he possibly mention Tesla? Probably not. But the betting that we did see, right? The betting that we did see throughout the whole day, especially the last couple of days, really does show that maybe somebody does know something. Now, here's the flip side, right? Like we talked about, the market's been shaking off bad news. We got a slew of really crappy earnings that came out after the close, right? Snap, okay? Snap is in the NASDAQ 100. Snap is getting snapped, right? Down 11%. SMCI, okay, obviously the semiconductors are a big part of the NASDAQ 100. SMCI is, down 17, 18% after the close. Obviously, it's taken everything down. You look, for example, like First Solar, okay? First Solar is another NASDAQ 100 name. You kind of get it. The earnings this evening are not being received, not being received well. So the question is, can the bulls, right? We're so close to the end zone. We're so close to reclaiming back the 50-day moving average. The question for tomorrow is, can the bulls shake this off, right? Can they shake this off and reclaim that 50-day moving average before the really big earnings tomorrow? Tomorrow you have, what's tomorrow? Tomorrow's what? Tomorrow's Wednesday, excuse me. So tomorrow you got Microsoft and Meta. So can we shake off these bad earnings reports, especially in the heavily NASDAQ names, and start reclaiming back the 50-day moving average? Again, tomorrow you got Microsoft after the close, Meta after the close, Qualcomm, Clack, Caterpillar at the open. You got some insurance companies' names, Allstate's, Aflac, Yum Brands. So again, very, very important. But the one name, right? The one name that is really something you have to pay attention to, right? If you guys remember a couple of days ago, we caught a massive pivot on Tesla, really, really, really massive pivot on Tesla, and it traded up into supply, right? It traded up into this 100-day supply. And we've been talking about, they've been buying calls nonstop. I'm talking about 300s, like it's going out of style. Guys, I'm going to show you, this is basically the last like 5 orders, right? Again, if my page can go down, it would go down to the floor. As you can see here, 200 grand for the weekly 300s, 485 grand for the 290s, 300 grand, 290s, 310 weeklies, 300 weeklies. Guys, a guy came in 5 minutes to the close for 1.6 million for the January $400 calls. This dude basically just bypassed everything and said, nah, man, we're not even talking about the 300s. This dude bet 1.6 million for the 400s. Here is basically where there is no more room for discussion, okay? Guys, you see the supply zone from yesterday, right? You see the supply zone from yesterday? If Tesla confirms, Tesla's down a couple of points after the close. If Tesla can confirm, right? If Tesla can reclaim this 100-day supply, folks, look how much room you have, right? Look how much room. You have literally room to all the way up to 315. 315 is the 150-day EMA. So it's going to be very interesting to see if the whole NASDAQ, right? If the whole NASDAQ can shake off this SMCI, First Solar, Snap, and a whole slew of earnings for tomorrow. If they can't, again, we were very, very close, good run for the bulls in the last 2 weeks. But again, close and reclaiming are two different things. And the most important part is, again, the world doesn't want to hear about the labor pains. The world just wants to see the baby. And if the bulls want to keep on going, right? Keep on going, keep on getting aggressive. The bulls need to shake off these slew of earnings this afternoon, right? And then go tomorrow, start going green ahead of the Meta and Microsoft numbers. So it's going to be a very, very interesting day. Again, the market was digesting gains for the last couple of days. And the 2 days in a row now, we kind of rallied into the close. But the most important one, folks, the most important part, especially for all you guys who trade Tesla, guys, we are just like the NASDAQ is very close to reclaiming the 50-day moving average. We're like at the 10-yard line, man. We really are. We are at the 10-yard line before you potentially have a game breakaway touchdown. So, guys, let's watch yesterday's channel, the 100-day supply. If the Bulls can reclaim back the 100-day supply, there's like 20 points, man. There's like 20 points for the next supply zone. So, again, we shall see, said the blind man. We shall see. Guys, have a great night, everybody. God bless. Let's see what happens tomorrow. We got a big day of earnings. Let's see if Tesla can wake up, reclaim. Let's see if the semiconductors can shake off SMCI's earnings. And with God's help, we'll all be there together. Take care, everybody. Have a great, great night.